All right, we be live. Hi, everyone. Please make sure you like the stream right now so that more people end up watching the stream. More people come here in the live chat and join the discussion. And make sure you tell me right now if my audio is okay so that I could have some peace of mind, knowing that everything is working technically so I could get started. Let me know in the live chat that my audio is good. Actually, let me check myself. There we go. My audio is good. All right, fantastic. Guys, it's really important. It's really important for you to like the stream. This is you, it doesn't cost you anything. We're going to be talking about some very, very important. Oh, hi, Mars. Mars in the live chat. Some very important concept. So here's what we do on this channel. We show you the problem, but we also try to come up with a solution. It's easy. There's a lot of channels out there that show the narratives that are toxic, that they're dangerous, that are a threat, the ideas that are a threat to your and my and everyone else's way of life on the planet. On the planet. I'm not exaggerating here. I will talk about these concepts more and more in these streams. These streams that I'm doing, the videos that I'm about to show, are excuses just so that you and I are equipped with the narratives and the arguments and the logic that we need to bring to be able to fight this fight. We are in an ideological battle, and this is a very important time, both because the ideas that have made this world a better place are under attack from all directions, two, because we are at a point where technology is advancing so much that the ideas that become ingrained today, the ideas that are set in our society today, are going to reflect in our new technology and the way that it's used and the way that society is going to grow for millions of years to come. It's going to be based on what ideas are going to win today. You're at a point, you and I are living at a point in history where humans are about to become gods. And the ideas that are set today, we are so lucky to be born in a time that our future technology, when it comes to abundance and our access to technology, it looks so much brighter than our past if we win this ideological battle. And if that's why every single one of you is so much more important than you realize. Every single one of you. You guys might think that you're insignificant, but given that how even a small impact, how much more astronomical of an impact that's going to have on the millions and millions and billions of people that are going to be in the future, each one of you is so significant. I could talk about that at another time. So I am going to show you a series of videos that are threatening our way of life, that represent. I know a lot of you are here just to see what are these people saying, what are these, I don't know, anti-Semites and Muslims are saying, but this is so much bigger than that. This is so much more important than that. Islam just reflects one of those ideas that are dangerous for tomorrow and is spreading like a virus. And on the other hand, the reason why we're looking at Europe and Canada and North America is because these are the countries that have, by geographical and historical accident, have become the home, the base of the ideas that has made our world a much better place to live in. So we need to make sure that we defend these places, not just geographically, but also ideologically. That's why we're talking about the spread of, I don't know, wokeism or communism or Islam in France or in UK or in Germany or in Canada or today in the US. And again, I am going to show you these videos, and most of us are going to agree, like, okay, yeah, that's horrible. But can we go beyond that? Can we go beyond, like, okay, yeah, that's horrible, but why is it horrible? Can I explain it to somebody why this is horrible? Can I explain to somebody what is the better idea? Why the better idea is a better idea? Could I explain to somebody how this is a problem? This is a problem, how this way of looking at the world is going to cost us all. Can I do that? Or can I just point and be like, oh my God, that's horrible? Because that's what so many other people are doing, like so many other places where they're like, oh, look at these horrible people saying horrible things. Okay, what next? thank you guys for supporting this channel. I see Jan just became a member. Thank you so much. Mars, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. It's great to have you here, Mars. Mars is saying, hope this helps, encouraging everyone to donate too if you can. Only if you can. Please do not spend a single cent supporting me or anyone else if you're struggling financially. There are, I mean, I appreciate the financial support, but there are also free ways to support this channel, like liking the stream. Liking actually does really help. Leaving a comment after the show is over, subscribing, hitting the bell notification, recommending this channel to more people. All of that helps, and all of that doesn't cost you a single cent. But thank you so much, Mars. I really appreciate that. And so thank you so much for Alfred highlighting people's comments and also starring the ones that he wants me to read. Rush is saying, Arabs are Semites. Arab Muslims don't hate Jews. You are spreading hate speech and false information. So Arabs are Semites is somebody who says that is somebody who doesn't understand how language works. So when people say anti-Semite, we know because words meanings are based on the utility and the way people use them. Yes, Semites include Arabs and Jews and many other groups of people, right? But when people are saying the word anti-Semite, they're talking about anti-Jewish hatred. That's how the word is being used, so that's what it means. So you don't know how language works because you don't understand that the root of a word is not the definition of the word. The utility of a word is the definition of the word. So Arabs and Muslims don't hate Jews. I didn't say Arabs and Muslims hate Jews. You did a straw man on me because I haven't said that. I never generalized to Jew hatred to all Arabs and Muslims. Anti-Jewish hatred is encouraged in Islam. There's hadith and Quranic verses for that. But fortunately, not all Arabs and non-Muslims are anti-Jewish. Have hatred against all Jews. So again, you assume something I am saying that I'm not. So congratulations, you are embarrassing yourself. And then say you are spreading hate speech and false information. Well, you don't even know what I'm saying. Judging by your assumptions on my position, seems like you already are judging me without actually knowing what my position is. So congratulations for embarrassing yourself in front of my audience. Okay, and Gargad defense system, thank you so much. And also Gargad refers to another hadith that shows Islam is anti-Jewish. Maybe Muslims, not all Muslims are anti-Jewish, but Islam is anti-Jewish. Go look up what Gargad refers to. It's a tree, and you will know what I'm talking about. And Gargad defense system, thank you so much for buying 10 memberships for people in the live chat. Thank you so much for the gift. Let's get on with the video. Guys, again, I really need you to like the stream. It's very important for people to see what I'm about to show you and also to be equipped with the counter narrative. I don't even know if we are equipped with the counter narrative. That's why I'm doing this stream with you guys, so we could come up with the counter narrative together. Okay, so the first video, let me actually on the screen and also read the explanation because Dolly told me that I have to read them so she knows which videos I'm reviewing, right? So the first one, the explanation she included for this is Palestinian protesters taunting American police officers by calling them pigs. Okay, so if I actually go to the tweet where I got this from, okay, now, yeah, so it's actually the captions will explain it. Oh, thank you so much, Secular Sakai, for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate the support. Thank you, and thank you for being here. It's very heartwarming that you're here in the live chat. So thank you so much for supporting both ways. So you can see these two women are wearing the hijab. They're wearing the kafia. They're so-called pro-Palestinian. Again, pro-Palestinian. The people who say they're pro-Palestinian, they're actually anti-Palestinian. Remember that, okay? So most people who are waving the Palestinian flag, they're wearing the keffiyeh, they are anti-Israeli, they claim to be pro-Palestinian. They're the greatest curse upon the Palestinian people that has ever been, okay? Because these are the people who think that they're supporting Palestinian people, but they're using the blood and the misery of Palestinian people for their anti-Israeli, anti-Western imperialism and all that nonsense narratives, right? These are the people these are the people that are the reason for why Palestinians are suffering so much. The actual people who are the most beneficial for the Palestinian people are the pro-Israeli people. That's why here on this channel, at least, we claim that pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian is not a contradiction. So let's see what they're saying. They're saying, oink, oink, piggy, piggy. we will make your life okay, YouTube, SHITTY. Okay, so YouTube, I am not pro any of these videos, pro any of these positions that is being shown here, just to be clear, just in case I get a strike for any of the views that are being expressed here. Okay, so let's see what she's saying.
Oink, oink, piggy, piggy, we will make your life shitty. Oink, oink, piggy, piggy, we will make your life shitty.
Okay, that sounds like a threat. Where is this, by the way? This is Palestinian protesters taunting American police officers by calling them pigs. So I don't know which city this is. I know this is in the U.S. I don't know which city. If you do know, please let me know as well. But that last part sounds like a threat. Oink. Okay, so oink oink piggy piggy to the police. That is, that's an insult. But we will make your life shitty shitty. That is a direct. Is that? Am I exaggerating? Is that a direct threat? How are you going to make their lives shitty? Okay, but so this is obviously the reason why we're showing this is to actually demonstrate a lack of respect for the police, and also therefore a lack of respect for the rule of law. But why is that important? Why is a respect for a rule of law important? Are we just bootlickers? Like, are we just like people who submit to authority, people who submit to the force of the government? Is it always good to respect the rule of law? Well, no, it's not actually. Me coming from Iran, will actually disagree with you. With anybody who says that we should always respect for the rule of law. I mean, a lot of you also understand that, for example, respect for the rule of law under, I don't know, Nazi Germany, that is not something to celebrate. Under the Islamic Republic of Iran, that is not something to celebrate. So there are certain situations where we actually respect people who disrespect the rule of law, people who are challenging the rule of laws, right? So, for example, in Iran, the protesters who are challenging or disrespecting or violating the rule of law, we actually celebrate those people. But why are we hypocrites? Do we have double standard? Why don't we do that with people in the US? Why, Armin, why do you have a double standard? Why is it that when Iranian protesters are violating the rule of law, you're like celebrating that? But when in the United States, when somebody is insulting the police or is anti-police or anti-rule of law, you're saying that is not good. What can you guys tell me the difference? The difference is one of them is a government that is representative of the people. There's two conditions for us respecting the rule of law: a government of the people, by the people, for the people, if the government is actually reflective of what people want. Two, if the government is actually serving its people. Imagine how ungrateful do you have to be. So why is the rule of law important? The rule of law represents the stability for things that are working. When you are anti-rule of law, you're basically against all the framework and everything that is keeping the system that you're living in together. When you're against that, you're basically against the stability, the safety, and the prosperity and everything else that people are enjoying in that environment, in that society. You're threatening all of that. So when you say somebody saying oink oink piggy piggy, we will make your life shitty shitty, that is not just an insult. That is a threat to every single one of you people who are living there, because they are attacking the entirety of the structure. Right? So why is that okay if it happens in Iran? Because the structure that is in Iran, the government, should be threatened because it's not serving the people, and because it doesn't reflect, it is not a representation of the will of the people. But the structure in the US, in a liberal country that is working, how ungrateful do you have to be? Do you understand that as a US citizen, you're enjoying the best of lives compared to most of the planet? Do you understand the opportunities that you have? Do you understand the stability that you have? Do you understand the safety that you have from the police that you're insulting here? Imagine you coming with your backwards beliefs from somewhere else, in places that are not working, that the society is not as representative and working as the United States, and you, with your backward ideas, are challenging a system that is working for most of its citizens. You should be grateful. You should be thanking your police officers. They are the ones that are keeping all of this together for you. But you also understand this also represents an insult and a lack of gratefulness, and also a challenge to structure and stability, and a framework and a methodology to what ends? Two ends, right? And this reflects a unity between two forces. Among all the forces that are now existing in the world, among all the ideologies, what are the two that are trying to break the system? To break the system is woke leftism right now, because Marxism is like old now. Woke leftism is an advanced version of Marxism, which also targets society culturally, not economically, not just economically. But you have woke leftism and Islam. But these two are looking at so-called Western countries, and they want to break it. They want to break it, but for two different reasons. And this is what leftists don't understand. Leftists, if they want to break things, they want to break things for the sake of breaking things, because they're anti-authority, they're anti the order. When they call what they refer to as Western imperialism or Western colonialism, we refer to as the word liberal order. And by them wanting to break that, they want to break basically everything, all the structures that has made the world so much better in the past 100 years. All the improvements that we have had that has made the world a much more peaceful and prosperous place in the history of civilization, they want to attack that. And they call it Western imperialism. We call it the world liberal order. But they're just anti-authority. But they're uniting with a group of people called Islamists, referred to as Islamists, because they also want to break the exact same thing. That's the reason between the unity of these two groups, because they also want to break the exact same things. But what the leftists don't understand is that the Islamists are not anti-authority. They just want to replace the liberal authority with an Islamic authority. And once the Islamic authority is in charge, these leftists are going to be the first victims of it. The leftists are going to be the first victims of it. But in this phase, they're both anti-authority. They're both anti the rule of law, because that's what is keeping your system together. And if you want to defend it, you have to defend the rule of law. This is why it's so important as citizens of North American and Western European countries, and also Japan and South Korea and Taiwan, for you to defend the rule of law, because that's what is holding everything together. And this is why a woman like that who's chanting oink oink piggy piggy, that's why she's a threat. Islamists are not against the rule of law. They're just against this liberal rule of law, both internationally and domestically in these Western countries. But they're not against the rule of law. If they have the upper hand, they will bring the rule of law, but the Islamic rule of law, referred to as Sharia. And again, we Iranians have had experience with all of this, on steroids. This is what the Islamic Revolution in Iran was in 1979. Leftist Marxists uniting with Islamists, bringing down the order of the country, destroying the Pahlavi dynasty, and then the Islamists, leftists have a revolution fetish, because they just want to break things for the sake of breaking things. Usually when people do revolutions, like the French Revolution or other revolutions or the American Revolution, is because they don't want to break things for the one. They want to break the order that is not letting them progress. They want to actually build things. They want to break the barriers to building. But when the leftists, when Marxists and woke people, when they have a revolutionary fetish, they want to break for the sake of breaking. They just want to do a revolution. They have a revolution fetish. But the Islamists, they also want to build. They just want to build their own Sharia empire. And in Iran, these people, the same, when she says oink oink piggy piggy, we had these leftists and Islamists in Iran. They were also against the rule of law. They violated the rule of law that was working during the Pahlavi dynasty, that was making the country progress, and they brought the entire system down. And then the Islamists came to power, and they brought their own rule of law. And the same leftists that helped them, the Islamists, with the revolution, were the first on the execution line. Okay, so let's go to the second video. Pete is saying, I disagree with atheism, but your logic is sound, sir. Well, thank you so much. It's good for us to be able to compartmentalize. Like, we don't have to agree with somebody 100% to see their point in somewhere else, right? I might disagree with you here, but your logic here sounds pretty valid and sound, and I might agree with you there. We have to make sure that we learn, all of us, because the main threats to our way of life right now is Islam and woke leftism. These are the main threats to our planet right now, right? And it's important for us in the fight, in our defending our world against these two threats. It's important for us not to make 100% agreement a condition, because that would be our downfall. That would be the end of us. Because you're never going to find people that are 100% agree with you. So we have to learn, as long as we're against the spread of Islam and this whole far left ideology, all the other disagreements that we have, we don't have to hide them. We could have debates about them, but those are secondary in priority. And also, thank you so much for the $5 super chat by Sal Willis, is saying, let's not forget that in the US there is a significant right-wing Christian nationalist movement that is threatening our liberty. Well, yes, but these people will not have a chance at controlling anything if it wasn't for the far left. The right-wing Christians, the far-right Christians and their threat to society is so irrelevant that the only way that they become, so not right-wing Christians, you have to say far-right, because I don't have any problem with right-leaning people or left-leaning people. Right-leaning is A-okay in my books. Left-leaning is A-okay in my books, right? I only have a problem with woke leftists and Marxists. Liberal leftists, A-okay. Liberal right-leaning people, A-okay. So we shouldn't make right-wing or left-wing an insult. Okay, there's specific kinds of left-leaning people or right-leaning people we're against. But if you're talking about the right-leaning people that I think you're referring to, not every, like, you could be a Christian right-leaning people and still be a classical liberal and upholding liberal values, even though you're Christian or right-leaning. If you're talking about far right-leaning people, you're talking about like racist people, or I don't know, any other groups of people that I think you're referring to, they are the only way they become relevant, because their ideas are so backwards and so ancient that United States, Canada, Western European countries, they have evolved out of that. The only way that they have any relevance is because they're also anti-woke and anti-Islam, and by the spread of Islam and wokeism and also immigration from Islamic countries, that's the only way you could make these people relevant. That's why the main threat is actually the spread of Islamic ideas and also Islamic migration and also wokeism. If you are afraid of far-right leaning people, then target wokeism. Let's go to the second video. Thank you guys for the support. So actually, let me read the description. Let me remove that video so I have... Okay, so this one, it says, what effing sad day for America. Pro-Hamas savages hold a blood-covered head of the US president in front of the White House. How is this allowed? Okay, wow. I hope this is, again, YouTube, we're against these ideas. So this is a pro-Hamas and is holding a blood-covered head of the US president in his hand. And YouTube, we are anti-violence. This is a channel against violence. We are showing this just to criticize it. This is part of the news. So we don't endorse any of these people's positions. So look at They're holding Palestinian flags, and wow, there's a heart there, and also a blood-stained head of the U.S. president. So let's watch this. Oh, okay, actually, quite nice. There's somebody also burning the flag of the U.S., a tiny little flag of the U.S. There's being burned in the background. Okay, this guy is having a hard time burning a tiny American flag, so that's actually kind of funny.
Down with occupation! Down, down with occupation! Up with liberation! Up with liberation! Down, down with occupation! Down, down with occupation! Up with liberation! Up with liberation! Down, down with occupation!
Okay, I'm not going to go through this entire video, but you can see what's happening here. These are mostly actually American citizens. What city is this from? Let me actually see. It doesn't mention the city. I know it's a U.S. university. Oh no, it's sitting in front of the White House. Okay, so it's Washington D.C. Okay, so it's in front of the White House. I forgot that I read that part. Okay, so yeah, this is. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna say something that a lot of you disagree with. I'm very much in favor of American style support of level of free speech, which means, American level of free speech law, like support for free speech, is more than any other advanced country. Almost every other. It's one of the top ones out there. Like most European countries don't have the level of free speech that United States has, right? And that level of free speech means that you can come and you could show the bloodstained head of the president of the country that you're living in, and that is legal. Okay, that is legal. Nobody can stop you, right? I am in favor of that, and a lot of you guys, not in favor of what they're doing, in favor of having the free speech to do that, right? And I have my arguments for it. I don't think limiting free speech makes these views go away. I don't think limiting free speech is an effective force against bad ideas. And I also want to be able to see these bad ideas. I want to be able to see them. I want to make sure that the people are holding them feel free to express them, so that me and you recognize them as a problem. Because if you ban them, they will keep spreading without us noticing it, and we will notice it when it's too late. We will notice it when it's too late. And a lot of you disagree with me here on this channel, especially now that more anti-Islamic, more anti-immigration, more anti-leftist people, because a lot of right-leaning people, not all of them, are also as censorial as people on the far left. So people in the far left are censorial. People on the more farther right are also very censorial. Us liberal people, both leftist liberal and right-leaning liberals, we are very much in favor of a maximum, not an absolute level of free speech, but a maximum level of free speech. Okay, there are limitations, but so I wouldn't say I wouldn't call myself a free speech absolutist. I will call myself a free speech maximalist. Okay, so we want the maximum level of free speech, the level that we have in the United States. That's our go-to. United States is our go-to. And the more shows I do, the more live streams I do, the more I will explain why I think that is important to have. And it seems very counterintuitive for a lot of you guys, especially a lot of you right-leaning people who hate these ideas, and you think like you're being so naive. Why wouldn't you make the expression of these ideas illegal, right? And I will try to justify myself, and maybe you guys are right, and maybe you could convince me that maybe the level of support that I have for free speech is incorrect. I mean, I'm open to being wrong and being educated by you guys, but I think what I'm saying here, as evil as it is, as wrong as it is, it should be free to express. There should be no laws against expressing it. And again, so you're saying, Armin, so one of the limitations to free speech that I agree with is a direct threat of violence. Where some of you may be like, okay, wouldn't that include holding the bloodstained head of the president? Is that not a direct threat of violence? Well, it is a threat of violence. It's not a direct threat of violence. A direct threat of violence would be something that I don't even. I'm not sure if I can say it here on YouTube, because YouTube's algorithm might think I'm saying it, right? But it is a threat of violence. It's not a direct threat of violence. So yeah. So let me know your disagreements with me. I will read the comments, especially after the show, in the chat, in the comment section, to see why you would think that this, specifically this, what you're seeing here, do you think that should be? Let me see in the live chat. Do you guys think this should be banned? Should this be illegal? What we're seeing here on the screen. All right, let's go. Let me see. Is there anything else we want to see in here? No, that was the first part. Was the only thing that we needed to see. All right, let's go to the next video. Okay, this is very important for me to denounce. Yes, exactly. Great in the live chat is saying free speech includes speech you don't like. Yeah, exactly. If free speech laws, if free speech rights were for speech, did not include speech that we don't like, then you wouldn't even need laws to protect free speech. Do you understand? The whole point of having free speech laws is for speech that we don't like. Because if it didn't include speech that we don't like, we wouldn't even need laws to protect them, because we like them. Why would we not need laws to protect them? Same with human rights. Human rights are also supposed to be for the protection of humans that we hate. It's not just for the humans that we like, it's also for humans that we hate. Because if it was only for humans that we liked, then we wouldn't need human rights laws, because we like them. Why would we need laws to protect them? Yeah, so Hammers in the live chat is also saying legal. I don't like it, but it should be legal. Yeah, I will. As you watch more of Atheist Republic streams, I will try to come up with more arguments and more justifications for why we need free speech laws, even for disgusting views that we're watching right now. We need to find other ways to fight these ideas. People are saying, oh, Armin, you're being naive. Why are you being fair to these ideas? I'm not being naive. I'm not being fair. I want to annihilate these ideas, but removing their right to express it is not going to work. It's not going to work. It historically hasn't worked. So this video is insane, and I was considering not showing it because YouTube might think that we're promoting disgusting, vile ideas, okay? But YouTube, please understand, YouTube AI or algorithm, or if there's any human reviewer watching this video, please understand that I am showing this video to show dangerous ideas spreading. We're not promoting these ideas. We're against it. We disagree with this man on the screen. We disagree with him. And I'm just showing it to show people, to make people more aware of the ideas that are spreading in the US and how dangerous that is. Okay, so what is this man saying? So a man accusing Jews they are killing people, and then he wishes that, again, YouTube, not my views, that Adolf H, I'm just going to say it, Hitler was here. Right? So because he's going to say it. So why should I censor myself if he's going to say it? So again, YouTube, let me see. Are we still on? We're gonna get stricken down by the YouTube gods. Oh wow. Okay. Again, YouTube, we already been demonetized. So YouTube has heard the things that I've said. We haven't been demonetized during the stream for a while now, but now I see that we have been demonetized. So this shows that YouTube, now we're on thin ice. Guys, please make sure you like the stream so that YouTube doesn't think that we're promoting these ideas. So let's listen to this guy.
Well, you're killing people. You have nothing.
So let me give you context. He's taught there's some Jewish people here, and he's pointing at Jewish people and saying, why are you killing? He's telling the Jewish people why you're killing people. So he's pointing at Jewish people. So let's listen to this whole thing.
Well, you're killing people. You have nothing.
I wish Hitler was still here.
Go home. Freaking nuts.
I wish Hitler was still here. He would have wiped all y'all out.
I'm saying it was something. It was
Yeah, you're not working. A man your age should be
He would
working,
have
right?
wiped all y'all out. He says, I wish that guy was here. I'm not going to keep saying it. And he said he would have wiped all of you out. All of you out. This is in New York City. This is in New York. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much for the super chat by Dana. Dana or Dana? I don't know. Dana is saying the spread of bad ideas is what bothers me more than the speech itself. Yeah, and well, we need the speech to be able to see. Yeah, exactly. The speech itself is a demonstration of the. Yeah, that's actually a very good way of thinking about it. The speech is not the issue. The speech is not the issue. The bad ideas are the issue. The speech is a demonstration of the idea spreading. So we shouldn't be against the speech because we need the speech to be able to see the bad idea spreading. You shouldn't be against the speech. You should be against the idea itself. Limiting the speech does not limit the idea. That's a very good way of putting it, Dana. Thank you for that. So let's go to this next video. So this is a Muslim immigrant that hates American democracy. And he says, America is the cancer. America, secularism, democracy, capitalism are cancers. And it says Islam is the answer. This is a student at the university in Chicago. And there, wow, this is actually on campus? Yeah, he's talking at the Friday sermon in the university campus in Chicago. Amazing. So let's hear what he has to say.
America is the cancer. America, the American government, secularism, democracy, capitalism, these are cancers that have spread their illness all over the world. In America and in the Middle East. In America over here, people have the freedom to, again, like I said before, commit zina, do os fahisha, but when you speak up, it's a problem. Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer. They're tired of the American government. They're tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. And as Muslims, we have to understand that we have that new way of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent as a mercy for all of mankind. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was sent as a mercy. Why? Because the way of life he brought will bring that mercy. The way of life he brought will bring that tranquility to Muslims and non-Muslims. Non-Muslims won't have to worry about these issues they worry about now. They won't have to, because Islam is a just religion that has come to be implemented upon society.
Okay, so let's actually listen to it line by line. And also some of the parts, some of you don't understand what he's saying. So I want to make sure that you guys understand everything he said, because you need to know there's these people's narratives, okay?
America is the cancer.
All right, so it's important. I had a stream with a scholar that went through all of this in a lot of detail, and it's important for you guys to watch that, right? So actually, let me make sure I know the name of the stream so you guys could go watch it. So it's called The Global Threat of an Islamic Ummah. When he says America is the cancer, how is that Islamic? All right, remember, Islamic, because America does not exist when Islam came. So how is that part of Islamic teaching that you have to be this anti-American? Because a lot of people think that this is not Islam, but this is Islam. Remember, Islam, even without America, divided the world into Dar al-Harb and Dar al-Islam. So everywhere in the world that is Islamic is the house of Islam, and everywhere that is not Islam is what? Is the house of war. So you're supposed to have war in every place on the planet that is not Islamic, because the goal is to make it all Islamic. What is the most powerful force in the world outside of the world of Islam? It's America. What are the standards? What are the rules? The whole liberal order is held by American power. It's with American military. All right, all the ideas, the nation state and the structure of society came out of mostly France and the UK, but it was first implemented in the United States after the American Revolution, and that order, that system is now adopted by every single country on the planet. Every single country, because the whole concept of nation state was made out of this factory of ideas out of Western Europe and United States, right? And now America is not only the place that it gave birth to these ideas and spread it around the world, it's also now the military force behind upholding all this structure. And remember, this is a structure that we all owe our rights, our freedom, our sense of stability, all the progress in the world that you're saying, the access to health, access to education, it all comes from this order. But because this order comes from outside of Islam, it becomes a part of the world that is the house of war, right? The Darul Harb. And America is the force behind it, and it's the representation of all of this order, this liberal world order that Islam is against. So when it says America is the cancer, because that's the head of everything that they're against. That's how they see it. And it's actually pretty accurate, right? This is why it's very important for us to support all liberal countries, but United States is also the most important one, because the whole world would not stand, the whole liberal order would not stand without the American military backing it. This is why I'm not an American citizen, I'm a Canadian citizen, but each one of you who's an American citizen, your job is actually even more important than the rest of us. All of us are important because this is a battle of ideas, but if you are an American citizen, your vote is so much more important in maintaining this world liberal order. You have some superpowers. Your advocacy, your political activism, and your voting has more power than the rest of us. And it's important for you to be aware and use it responsibly. So when he says America is cancer, because they know that if they want to win, they have to come from America. And because they cannot defeat America militarily, they have to defeat America ideologically. And they have to come to America and spread their toxic ideas. And this is now something that people might challenge my defense of free speech. Because the only way to take down America is to actually use the very principle that made America great, to defeat America. The only way to take down America is to use the freedom of speech of America and the freedom of religion of America to spread bad ideas, to spread these ideas and take America down from within. So you might say, like, Armin, then if that's the only way to take down America, why do you still defend free speech? Because that's the greatest strength of America, but it's also the greatest weakness of America. America, you cannot defeat America economically or militarily. You can only defeat it ideologically by spreading these toxic ideas in America. That's the only way you could defeat it. And you need to take advantage of American free speech to be able to say these toxic ideas and convince people. Then we're like, somebody might say that then wouldn't it make sense to limit free speech if that's the greatest weakness of America? No, because if you take the free speech, you are already defeated. It's true that free speech is a weakness that could be taken advantage of, but it's such an important strength that if you give it up, so if you have free speech, you might slowly be defeated, but if you give up free speech, you're already defeated. It's already done. You already have fallen. So you cannot. I understand that there's a cost associated with free speech. But the benefits are so high that you have to find another way to defeat these toxic ideas. You have to actually go ahead. That's why it's your responsibility and my responsibility to use the same free speech laws to expose these people. That's the only way. We have no other way.
America.
Somebody saying Islam is not a religion, it's a cult. Islam is a religion. Islam is a religion. Don't say Islam is not a religion. You guys think religion is a good thing? Islam is actually dangerous, more dangerous because it's a religion.
The American government, secularism, democracy.
So you see, look at all the ideas that they're against. Secularism, government, secularism. Basically, look at, he's against secularism. These people don't care about Muslims. They care about Islam. So when I say we're anti-Islam, but we're pro-Muslim, because the values that we support here on this channel are values that make everyone's lives better, including Muslims. When he says he's against secularism, because he's for Islam, he's anti-Muslim, because he doesn't care about the lives of Muslims. If he cared about the lives of Muslims, you would notice that the Muslims live the best lives in secular countries. Compare Muslims in Islamic countries, compare their lives with the lives of Muslims in secular countries. Muslims live their best lives in secular countries. So if you were actually caring about Muslims, you would be pro-secularism. But if you don't care about Muslims, but you want Islam to grow, then you will be anti-secularist.
Secularism, democracy, capitalism, these are cancers.
Look at the secularism, capitalism, democracy. These three things that has made the world such a better place. Capitalism is responsible for so much prosperity, so much access to better health, better technology, better standard of living. The fact that if you are a mother or a father, look at your children and know that you would probably be burying them before they hit the age 5 if it wasn't for capitalism. Most mothers today cannot even imagine the pain of burying their child before they hit the age of 5. That's an unimaginable pain for most mothers today. But that was a pain that most mothers were familiar with before just less than 150 years ago. It was because of capitalism that we have lives now that you don't have to deal with that pain. Every time you go to the dentist, just remember that this was supposed to be torture. Anesthetics, every time you go to the doctor, every time you wash your hand you drink clean water. If you're older than 40 years old, just remember that you should have been dead by now. All of these are gifts of capitalism. Democracy, secularism, capitalism, these are gifts to mankind that these ungrateful these people don't understand. And look at the values that they're against. These are the values that have made the world such a better place. And they want to attack all of them.
That have spread their illness all over the world. In America and in the Middle East. In America over here, people have the freedom to, again, like I said before, commit zina, do os fahisha, but when you speak up, it's a problem. Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer.
Wait, what did he say? Oh, yeah, I should have translated for you guys because
in America over here, people have the freedom to, again, like I said before, commit zina, do os fahisha.
Commit zina, do fahisha. So zina means sex that is not allowed in Islam. So like, for example, sex outside of marriage or gay sex. So he's talking, and fahisha means like degeneracy. So he's talking about like in America, you have the freedom to just like sleep around and have sex with people randomly. So that's what he's talking. And fahisha, you're free to be a degenerate. So he's talking about degeneracy.
But when you speak up,
or sexual immorality, and he says all of that is okay, but when you speak up, it's a problem. So look at this. What do you mean it's a problem? Nobody's stopping you. You're speaking up. Nobody's stopping you. So these people don't even understand how free speech laws work. So if you're against the degeneracy or sexual immorality of Americans, of other Americans, you're speaking against it. So according to you, that's a problem. So your poison, the cancer that you're spreading, we're speaking against that. Yeah, it's a problem to us. You're not being stopped. You have the freedom to say it, but we are speaking against it. In the same way that you're speaking against our values. You're saying like, oh, why are they free to say to live their lives the way they want? But when we speak, it's a problem. So it's important for you guys to understand how he switched the standards. They're free to have their values. You're free to have your values. He was talking about the freedom on one side, but when it comes to talking about his values, instead of talking about whether it's free or not, he talked about whether it's a problem or not, right? So is it free or is it not free? do some people find it problematic, or some people do not find it problematic? These are different topics. When it comes to freedom, they are free, you are free. There's no double standard here. They are free to have their lives, have sexual liberty to choose who they want to have sexual relationship with. That's true in America. You are free to have your standards. You are free to come and say what you want to say. You're free to have your values. So when it comes to the freedom criteria, they're both free. There's no double standard here. When it comes to some people having a problem with these values, yeah, you have a problem with those values. We have a problem with your values. No double standard here either. You are against their values. We're against your values. So here, there's also no double standard. It's consistent. The only way he can demonstrate he could act like there's a hypocrisy or a double standard here is by talking about freedoms on one side, and then when it comes to his values, talking about, oh, there's a problem. You saw how he switched the metric in the middle? Do you understand what I'm talking about? He switched the metric in the middle. Don't fall for that.
Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer. They're tired of...
Okay, good. I hope this so-called cancer of liberalism exhausts all of you to the point that you submit not to Allah, but to the world liberal order.
The American government. They're tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. And as Muslims, we have to understand that we have that new way of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
I swear, guys, we need to defeat these people. Okay? When he says we're tired of democracy, these people are too far gone, most of them. Okay? A lot of people think I'm being too radical, but we need to go for their children. We need to have access to the minds of these children. We need to convince their children that our way of life is a better way of life. That's why I'm against demonizing Muslims, because the only way that we could defeat this ideology is to convince their children that our way of life is better. And for that, we need to give them a better life. We need to show that under Islam, their lives are ruined. Under liberalism, they have hope for the future. That's the only way that we can win this battle. We need to find access to their children and convince them out of this ideology. That is the way.
Was sent as a mercy for all of mankind.
Okay, so he's saying, so Muhammad Rasulullah, that's Muhammad. So Rasulullah means the messenger. Rasul or is the messenger of Allah. So remember that. Even every time you hear Rasulullah means the messenger of Allah, they're referring to Muhammad. So what is he saying?
Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent.
So he's saying Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, or as I say, sallallahu alayhi. So sallallahu alayhi wa sallam means to peace be upon him and his house or his family or whatever, or his people, right? So he says Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam means the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him. Okay, all of that. So remember Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam
as a mercy for.
So he's saying God sent Muhammad as a mercy to mankind. Muhammad, yeah, as a mercy to mankind. So listen to this again. I need you guys to learn this vocabulary because we need to be better soldiers against Islam.
That new way of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent as a mercy for all of mankind. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was sent as a mercy. Why? Because the way of life he brought will bring that mercy. The way of life he brought will bring that tranquility to Muslims and non-Muslims. Non-Muslims won't have to worry about these issues they worry about now. They won't have to.
So they're saying if there was Islamic law, so if there was Sharia law, that would be good for non-Muslims. And technically by non-Muslims, he's not talking about atheists, Buddhists, Hindus. He's talking about Christians and Jews, right? So he says that if they just let us remove democracy and liberalism and secularism and capitalism and implement Sharia law in America, then that would be good for non-Muslims as well, because non-Muslims will have better lives under Islamic law, because all this degeneracy, all this sexual immorality that is ruining people's lives, that will be fixed under Sharia law. So that's what he's promising.
because Islam is a just religion that has come to be implemented upon.
Yeah. All right. So that was that. Let me actually see what you guys are saying in the live chat. Alfred has highlighted some of your comments. C Starshine is saying Christian nationalism has caused some anti-Israel beliefs. Candace Owens is a good example, but Islam is far worse. Yes, of course. That is true. Good point. Candace Owens is insane, by the way. Kelvin is saying, Armin, you should look up Neville Roy Singham. Guys, if you want to send me recommendations, my Twitter is open. I can't remember the recommendations that you're telling me here. My Twitter DMs are open. Just message me over there. All right. Rush is saying, why don't you show the beheaded babies in Gaza? Well, one, because YouTube will strike us down if we show that. I will show it if, and also they're not beheaded. Okay, beheading means, decapitating somebody. I don't think beheading. I think if you lose your head in an explosion or something like that, is that called beheaded? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is. Okay, so that's why I won't show it. But I wish I could show it so I could expose Hamas's brutality. I could. I think you are saying that because as a gotcha to see like, oh my God, why aren't you exposing Israel for beheading babies in Gaza? But Israel is not killing babies in Gaza. All the Palestinian children and adult civilians that are dying in Gaza, they're dying because Hamas is using them as a human shield, and the murderers of Palestinian civilians in Gaza is Hamas. So I wish I could show all this brutality, all the death and destruction that is happening in Gaza, to be able to show you how evil Hamas is and how many thousands of death and destruction Hamas is now responsible for in Gaza. Israel has no choice but to attack Gaza. Israel's responsibility was to attack Gaza, and Israel has done everything it possibly can to try to reduce civilian casualties in Gaza. But unfortunately, Hamas has made it extremely difficult for Israel to be able to respond to an attack on its country, on its soil, on its civilians, without this many civilian casualties. And unfortunately, Israel still has to respond, because there is no way that you could not respond to October 7th, because if you do, then you're encouraging more war and destruction if you are not demonstrating your deterrent capabilities. In fact, if you look at how Israel is now operating against Hezbollah in Lebanon, you could see that when there is no human shield, when there is no such high population density, and when the enemies are easily identifiable, like Hezbollah in Lebanon, Israel manages to kill its enemies without so much civilian casualties. They are so surgical and so good at taking out their enemies without civilian casualties. And even in Gaza, where there is high civilian casualties, it's actually much lower civilian to combatant ratio than almost every single most modern warfares, even compared to United States when they were taking out ISIS. So it's actually a miracle how low the IDF has managed to keep the civilian death relative to the combatants' death, given the high population density of Gaza, and given that Hamas uses civilians as human shield in Gaza. It's actually very impressive. Every Israeli should be proud of their military and the way they're performing. It's the politics of Israel is unfortunately very chaotic, and the politicians are not doing what they're supposed to do in Israel. But the Israeli military is doing an amazing job, and Israelis should be proud of it. I mean, Israelis are not proud of their government. That's why they're protesting in the streets, but they should be proud of their military. The military is doing a phenomenal job. Okay, so somebody's saying, crazy saying, I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to death your right to say it. Yeah, that's a good principle to have. I mean, you don't need to, not everybody has to defend something to death. And I don't think Voltaire actually said that. I think but you could defend people without defending them, or the right to say it without doing it till death. But I like the principle. I like the whole principle of this quote. what it's trying to say. Mojo saying, I am pro LGBTQI, and you, Atheist Republic, are Navabi. Yes, I am. I am obviously pro LGBT. Well, I'm pro LGBT. However, I am against what the woke have turned the are turning the LGBT movement into, right? So if you're asking me if I'm pro LGBT in the sense that I am pro LGBT, these people's rights to equality before the law, to the right to have a peaceful, prosperous, happy lives, where they get to enjoy the lives in the way that they see fit. If you're asking me if that's what you mean, yes, I am completely for all of that. But if you are talking about LGBTQI as in how this movement is being hijacked by woke people recently, and how some of them are turning in this movement into something that it's not supposed to be, if you're talking about that, then I'm against this recent shift in this movement. And I think the main people who will suffer from it, if this movement is hijacked by woke people, as it is being hijacked by woke people in many places, the main people who will suffer for it are the members of this community, because their movement that was supposed to be for their rights and freedom is now representative of something else. Okay, so I am anti-Muslims and anti-Islam. Well, then I do not agree with you. I am a humanist, and Muslims are humans. And because I'm a humanist, I'm pro all humans, including Muslims, Christians, atheists, and everyone else. So I'm not anti-Muslim, I'm anti-Islam. And one reason why I am anti-Islam is for the sake of Muslims themselves, because Muslims are the main victims of Islam. This is last question, and then I will go to the super chats, and then we'll end it there. Guys, make sure, please, you like the stream, because liking the stream is very important for more people to see our videos and discover our channel and subscribe to our channel, right? He was saying, I have read about aggression also in Avesta. I don't know if it's true. Is it possible for you to analyze such parts of Avesta? Yes, Zoroastrianism is also a backward, barbaric, anti-woman, anti-sanity religion. So a lot of people think that I'm Iranian, I'm against Islam, I would be pro-Zoroastrianism. No, Zoroastrianism is a very barbaric, violent religion. I've read parts of it that shows that it's actually so anti-woman. In some parts, it actually manages to be more anti-woman than even Islam. So yeah, I'm not pro-religion. I'm not even pro-Zoroastrianism. I'm an atheist. I'm an anti-religion. I don't know if there's any point exposing Zoroastrianism as a barbaric religion, because what's the point? Like, Zoroastrianism is not a threat to our way of life right now. Islam is a threat to our way of life. So maybe I should focus my attention on Islam and wokeism and ideas that are actually challenging our way of life. Why should we be afraid of Zoroastrianism right now? So let's read the super chats. Carl is saying, I appreciate your sentiment. All Muslims suffer under Islam, but we have to see that many Muslim men profit from Islam as long as it's expanding. Yeah, there are some Muslim, not many. Yeah, the Muslims rulers are the main Muslims who, and Muslim upper class people. Yeah, again, when I say I'm not anti-Muslim, that doesn't mean that I'm pro every single one of them. Obviously, there are many Muslims who are part of the problem. I just don't want to generalize all Muslims as a problem. But obviously, there are many Muslims who are part of the problem. And also the Muslims who are also part of the problem, they're still the victim. But the fact that they're the victim, that doesn't mean that we have to defend them. That doesn't mean that we have to make excuses for them. We could try to paralyze their methods and their strategies, even if they're the victims. Like, for example, if a zombie is coming for you and is spreading a disease, sometimes that zombie was a human that was a victim of this virus that made them to a zombie. Or let's say, maybe not zombie, because I don't want to dehumanize people. Let's say, for example, a sickness that doesn't turn you to non-human. Okay, and sometimes, unfortunately, you're the victim, but you're carrying a disease, and even though you're a victim, I have to take a position against you individually, even though you're the victim. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes strategically we have to take positions against certain individuals as well. And that is not a contradiction from to me saying Muslims are the victim of Islam. Both of these two are true at the same time. They do not contradict each other. So, for example, I'm against like Daniel Haqiqatjou. Is Daniel Haqiqatjou a victim of Islam? A victim of Islam? Yes, he is. Does that mean that I'm not going to be against that individual because he's a victim? No, I am going to be against that individual. But certain Muslims, I'm not against that individual at all. Like there are good Muslims out there that I'm not against them. Okay, I see them as a victim and good people. I'm not against that individual. So let's just make this clear. When it comes to Islam, I'm against Islam in all its versions, the entirety of Islam, from the most reformist versions of it. In fact, I am more against those, to the most radical versions of it. There is not a single version of Islam that I'm not against. I'm against all Islam. All Islam is evil. I'm happy to generalize the entirety of Islam. When it comes to Muslims, I'm an individualist. I judge every Muslim separately. When it comes to their views on Islam, I am happy to generalize to say that every Muslim is wrong about Islam. But when it comes to whether I take a position against a Muslim or not against a Muslim, or sometimes I might even work with a Muslim, then I have to judge individually, one by one. But even the Muslims who I'm against, I'm not against their human rights. You have human rights, even if you have the most toxic ideas. And human rights does not mean that you're not going to be punished, that you're not going to be imprisoned, that you're not going to be taken out if you're in the middle of doing something violent. That is also part of your human rights. Human rights means that if you're arrested and you're put to jail, you get to have a lawyer. That if you go to jail, you're not going to be tortured. These human rights does not mean that we're going to let you do whatever you want. Human rights means that your right to mobility will be limited if you're a threat to other people, but we'll try to do that in a way that you're not suffering when we limit your right to mobility in a prison or something like that. So these are concepts that we should all understand here and be familiar with, because these are the modern way. These are the standards of Enlightenment values that made our lives better. So what does defending human rights mean? What does defending a human right of a terrorist mean? Like, why should we talk about the defending of a human rights of a terrorist? That guy is a terrorist. Why should I defend his human rights? How is that? Like, you're saying that we could take that man out, but you're also defending his human rights. Is that another contradiction? No, it's not. A lot of people don't understand these concepts, and we should become more familiar with it, because that's what we're defending. That's what we're against forces like Islam or Marxism or wokeism or all other fascistic ideas. What are we defending? We shouldn't just be against the ideas that are a threat. We should also understand the ideas that we're defending. We should become familiar with what is it that made our life so much better. What are these values? So we make sure that we're also playing a good offense and a good defense at the same time. And also thank you so much for the 6 shekels from Bar saying candy. I don't know what you're saying. Owens can go to hell. Okay. Candy. So you're saying Candace Owens can go to hell. I don't know what those other things are, but I appreciate the 6 shekels. We're Zionist funded here on this channel. Proudly so. Good. Guys, I'm going to head out. I'm going to go get ready for my Persian show. Atheist Republic has 2 channels, one in English, one in Persian. This Atheist Republic is the English channel. The Persian channel is called Jomhuriye Bi Khodayan. So once I'm done with the English channel, I'm going to go to the Persian channel for an mostly Iranian audience. So my audience on my Persian channel is mostly in Iran. So I'm going to go get ready for that. If you speak Persian, come to the Jomhuriye Bi Khodayan channel. If not, just make sure you like the stream and you subscribe and you hit the bell notification. And please leave a comment. So, ask. Okay, now get it. Thank you so much for Alfred for explaining what that meant. Leave a comment, and the comments help the channel grow. Thank you so much. And also, please criticize what I'm saying, or tell me that I'm saying something that is correct or something that is wrong. I try to read the comments as much as possible. I have learned from you. This is a two-way thing. I'm hoping that you're learning something from me, but I'm also trying to learn from you. So leave your comments, or leave, even if you don't criticize me or don't want to say something positive, just leave a comment for the algorithm, for the YouTube gods. Thank you so much. Till next show. Bye. Mwah.